38 Spesh said this.
Well, how do you separate yourself?
Through being consistent. That's how you weave through all the bullshit. It's like, all right, everybody rapping right now. Let's see 5 years from now if you niggas still doing it. Let's see if y'all still got that. And it's been 5 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? 5, 6 years ago, me and Ben put out our first project together, not our second project together, 6 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Stabbed and shot 6 years ago. We still rapping at an all-time high. You know what I'm saying?
Still on the incline.
This is what's gonna separate. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, do you got the gas, do you got the hunger, you got the ambition to keep going? You know what I'm saying? And that's what this shit boiled down to. It's not stopping. You know what I mean?
But it doesn't happen overnight. So you gotta outlast, like you said earlier. It don't happen overnight. So you gotta outlast them.
Facts.
Did you hear that? Consistency is everything. When I work with certain artists, the first thing I look for is, if I never worked with them before, I look at their catalog. What have you worked on previously? You know what I mean? How many records have you put out? You know what I mean? Have you went through the gauntlet? Like, you know, in my era of hip hop, like we, you know, for MCs, we had things called the gauntlet, you know what I'm saying? Which is like different ciphers. You might go in the studio, you rhyming, you know, hopping on a bunch of records. It's called the gauntlet because it's like, yo, you got to take everybody's head off. And what 38 Spesh is saying, and if y'all don't know who 38 Spesh is, do your freaking homework. You know what I'm saying? Legendary MC and producer out of Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? He ill. He's like one of the originators of the, you know, Buffalo boom bap. You want to call it like the Griselda style music. You know what I mean? Rock Marcy. You know, like 38 Spesh is one of those originators of it. You know what I mean? And he get to it. Like if you look at his catalog, it's very extensive. But what he was saying on the clip is, if you want to stand out and you want to be different, you know, from everybody else, you know, different as in talent is one thing. Different as in style is another thing. Different as in image is one thing. But different as in consistency is the realest. That's the realest thing you can ever, you know, have as consistency. To constantly give your fans, you know what I'm saying, what they need. That's the important part. Like, you know, everybody at some point in time want to figure out if they want to be a rapper or not. It happens. Just like sports with basketball and football, just like being a, you know, an artist, a painter, you know, just like being a model, it happens. People have aspirations of doing certain things. But you heard this term. This is not for the weak. You heard that before. This is not for the weak, which means that the ones who are the most consistent and stay at it are usually the ones who prosper the furthest. That's just how it is. And if you're not dedicated to your craft in the way that you should be, then you'll get drowned out with all the other artists that's out here trying to chase a dream. You got to really lock in. You know what I mean? Look at, you know, certain people's catalogs, like, for instance, like Currency. You know what I'm saying? Currency's catalog is extensive. You know what I'm saying? Jay Worthy, shout out to my guy Jay Worthy. Look at his catalog. He dropping projects, EPs, albums, 2 pieces, you know, like 2 records they drop at the same time. You know what I mean? We got like TF, you know what I'm saying? He dropping consistently, you know what I mean? Trez. Shout out to TF and Trez. They dropping projects at least every 3 months. They being consistent, and whether you feel like that's too much music or whatever, you know, that's your opinion. But you got to do something to stay consistent with your fan base, whether it's dropping behind the scenes content, music videos, you know, whatever you got to do to stay in the face of your fans. That's important, especially if your fans are supporting fans that buy your music, that buy your merch, that come to the shows. You got to stay consistent because that's your bag. That's your money. That's your opportunity to be the artist who you are. So you got to be consistent, man. I love that he said that, you know what I mean? And I love that, you know, shout out to my expert opinion. I love that they're having a conversation with an artist who's done it for years and is consistently doing it at a high level. You know what I mean? And that's another thing. A lot of these artists can't do this music thing at a high level all the time. You know what I mean? There's very few. So you gotta really lock in, be in a lab, locking in, doing your records, get your release schedule, get you a team, and there's a lot of other jewels that he talk about in terms of just the independent game, which distributors to go with. You know what I'm saying? The strategy that he used for him to be able to make money in music and not do anything else. He went into depth, so make sure y'all watch that episode with 38 Spesh on My Expert Opinion. Shout out to Math Alpha. Shout out to Mecca. I really respect Mecca because he really is like the he's the other side of what the game needs to understand and respect. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that does like management, A&R, and really being honest about people's music. And I respect what he's saying. But that interview was dope. But I wanted to point out just this particular part. Like, nah, you got to be consistent. Like, my rule is, just as a producer, I'm gonna be honest. I don't particularly work with artists that don't drop records. I don't. To be honest, I don't. If you're not dropping no records, why would I want to work with you? Why? So you could be a hoarder and just tuck your music in your hard drive? You think my production or my work is supposed to be a part of your hard drive of music that's never being released? We're not doing that. We definitely not doing that. So I look for artists. I like to work with artists who are consistently working. They in the right places. They dropping music. They networking with people. Those are the artists that I like working with. And, just to be honest, you doing yourself a favor by being consistent. You're really doing yourself a favor. You know what I mean? And I want to know what y'all think. Like, everybody watching, y'all, I appreciate y'all, watching my videos and just the comments. I appreciate all of that. So what do you think? What do you think are the best things to do to be a consistent in this music game? You know what I mean? Like, give us some ideas, because these artists, they need it. So give us some ideas in the comments, you know what I'm saying? And, I want to hear what y'all think about 38 Spesh and his music and him being consistent. And what are some other artists that you feel like are very, very consistent that we should check out? Like, I'm always doing my homework on different artists. So if it's an artist that, you feel like I don't know about, man, put it in the comments, man. I'm going to do my homework on them for sure. But, man, like and subscribe. You know what I mean? I'm almost to 500 subscribers. I'm almost able to be, to monetize and do my thing, man. But I'm going to keep bringing content, and I appreciate y'all through the whole journey. You know what I mean? Work low.